All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Super Bowl Sunday. The Bengals are playing the L.A. Rams. I could care less. Except Joe Burrows is an LSU alumni. He did great for the LSU Tigers. So my wife is watching it. I thought I would record a video. Today's video du jour is all about high adventure role-playing, a.k.a. HARP Fantasy by IronCrown.com and GCP, which is new. This is a reprint. I don't want to say it's a second edition, but it is slightly newer, and there have been some changes. And in fact, one of the cool things is the very first page, the forward, Nicholas Cadwell talks about the changes that are made. So it kind of is a second edition, but I don't think it's officially a second edition. It's had a convoluted existence, he starts out with. It was first published in 2003 as a 160-page volume and enjoyed early success. Constructive feedback from many sources encouraged its then designers to perform a minor revision, incorporating new material and leading to a 2004 re-release as a 192-page. That's when I first discovered it. A number of substantial books and supplements: Martial Law, Colleges of Magic, Monsters, a field guide, Loot, a field guide, Cyrodion, and Codex. Followed by the next couple of years, HARP Sci-Fi was transferred to a different publisher, Guild Companion Publications Limited, and it was published as a pair of core rulebooks. The HARP Fantasy license transferred at the very end in 2010 to Guild Companion Publications Limited. This new HARP Fantasy marks a new beginning for HARP. I have been involved with HARP from publication playtesting of what would become the 160-page version. So yeah, he's been with the game for quite a while. I've been a fan for years. Now, it's funny because I did not like MERP, Middle-earth Roleplay, which used basically the same mechanics as Rolemaster, which this is a derivative, slightly modified, not as chart-heavy as Rolemaster. We used to call Rolemaster Chartmaster, and that wasn't a derogatory. It's just at the time we weren't into my gaming group, Brian Isakoff, Amar, all those guys, Adam. We weren't into like chart-heavy games. D&D 3.0, 3.5 had kind of hit, and we were all over that. We played many, many campaigns. Legends of the Five Rings had popped. We played a huge campaign of that for a while. So we were into different games, and it wasn't that HARP was bad or Rolemaster was bad or Middle-earth. We just weren't into that yet. And I remember seeing HARP as a softback at my local game store in Walnut Creek, or in Concord, California, when I lived there. And I picked it up because the cover just grabbed me. It's this same cover of a small Drake coming out and the adventurer, coming in to get his treasure, or vice versa. Who knows? You can't assume. And I fell in love with it. And it was Iron Crown Productions. And Iron Crown was pretty hot because, they had Rolemaster, they had MERP, and all that stuff was going strong for them and doing very well, for their licenses. And then they lost the Middle-earth license, and it went to, I think it was Decipher, which no longer exists anymore. And then Decipher kind of, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, correct me in the comments if I am, but I think Decipher turned into Last Unicorn Games, or vice versa. I can't remember. It's been so long. But anyway, what is high adventure role-playing, a.k.a. HARP? If you like Rolemaster, if you like Against the Dark Master using the D100 system, then you're going to like HARP. If you like percentage-based systems, if you like a high fantasy system, if you like your characters to have a decent amount of experience and be fairly competent at character creation in whatever it is. So your fighter's going to fight good. Your mage is going to be pretty good at magic. Your thief is going to be thiefly. Your monk is going to be monkey. I don't know. Go with that. You're going to be pretty competent, but you're going to be lacking in a lot of areas. But, this is a game where you have strong control over how you make your character. It uses development points just like Rolemaster, just like MERP, just like Versus or Against the Dark Master, or Versus the Dark Master. Against the Dark Master is just a reimagined version of Rolemaster. It's a great game. I've played it. I really enjoyed it. I I backed the Kickstarter as a late backer. I got the core book and the GM screen and some accessories, and I love it. I'm not mad at all that I got it, but you can see the influences of games like HARP had on, Against the Dark Master, and it's a good influence. So obviously this is not nearly as thick as Against the Dark Master, because Against the Dark Master is basically chart master, and not in a bad way. I don't say that as a derogatory, and when I refer to roll master as chart master, it is not to be derogatory. That was the style of game that was popular back then. It just wasn't for me at that time. Now I kind of like it, and HARP follows in that footstep. But only in the aspects of your crits and your damage when you do combat. So you do need a chart. So if you're a fighter, you're going to want access to, if you're using piercing weapons, bludgeoning, slashing, whatever, you're going to want bashing, you're going to want those charts. And they're all in here. I mean, it's great. This little book, which I don't even know how many pages. This is the hardback version. You can get it in softback. They pretty much exclusively sell through Drive-Thru RPG, which, of course, we all know the prices are a little inflated right now with the paper shortage and everything. 203 pages. That includes the index, but it does have a very well-done index and a table of contents. This is the art. It's all black and white. The art is phenomenal. There's a section on adventuring. I think the art is phenomenal in the book. It's all this kind of like watercolor, black and white, and like I said, and some of it's just straight pencil drawing. But the art that they got for the book is really well done. And the neat thing is you can play whatever you want to play. You have all your standard character classes and races. So your races are dwarf, elf, gnome, grix, which is basically a lizard man, for lack of a better word, halfling, and human. So if you wanted to say the grix are dragonborn and you want to play D&D, but you don't like the D&D mechanics, this will totally do it. It's high fantasy. There's magic. There's magical, equipment and weapons and spells and potions. It's really, really well done. Character statistics. It's a percentage-based system. So you're gonna look at a profession, and there are professions. You're gonna look at your profession. Profession is a fighter, is an alchemist, is a monk, is a mage, is a cleric, a harper, which is basically a bard. You're going to look at your profession. You're going to see kind of where they're specialized, what their attributes are needed to be in that profession. And then you go choose your race, and you'll get development points. And then you're going to start picking skills. And it's a very detailed character creation process. It is not as super crunchy as some games. Like, I think it's harder to make a character in Against the Dark Master than it is in HARP. I've made characters for both. I think HARP actually lays it out a little bit better and a little easier. That's just my opinion. Your mileage may vary. But and this game is very well supported. Against the Dark Master is just a newer version of this, and it's a good game. Don't get me wrong. If you like your big tome and you like your giant charts, then you're going to love Against the Dark Master. But if you want something a little more streamlined that holds up to the time, I mean, this is 2004, guys, still going strong. I think this is a really good game system, and you should give it a look. And if you enjoy it, if you enjoy that in-depth fantasy, remember this is kind of the same system they used for Middle Earth role-playing, and that's one of the beloved editions of Lord of the Rings. So it's got some chops, and it's got a little bit of a learning curve. Again, it's percentage, so it's not terribly steep. Your modifiers are all, in the 10s, 20s, 15s, that kind of thing, positive or negative. And your skills can go up to 105, which just means you're exceptional at whatever that is, and you can really, really do a great job. So, and you can go, you're exceptional if you have 105. But, your starting characters are going to start around 35 to 50, base. And then, of course, you'll get bonuses for doing certain things or having the proper tools or taking the time to cast a spell. The game really does a great job of giving you the options to be good at whatever it is you do. So your fighter's going to fight really well. He may not be picking locks really well. That's what the thief is for. But you're going to have fun with this. And the great thing is this book is really well supported, which, the ironcrown.com website, it leaves a little bit to be desired. It needs some help. I was just on it looking for character sheets, and it was horrible. The pages weren't loading properly, and that's just bad web design. But all the books are available. All these books that I'm going to show you are available on DriveThruRPG. Use my affiliate link if you pick them up. Tell them Mr. Mean sent you. And please, if you buy a book through DriveThruRPG, do a review. Even if it's just to say, hey, I bought this, I really enjoyed it, or hey, I feel like I kind of wasted my money. Let the author and the developers know, that you like their work or you don't like it, and not everything is for everybody. My taste in RPGs is very diversified. I love everything from hard sci-fi to high fantasy to low fantasy. Chivalry and Sorcery I would consider a low fantasy game. It's more historical, but it can do high fantasy. Magnus Barnabas is a mage in Stephen Turner's Chivalry and Sorcery game. Stephen Turner is the current owner of the property, and I love the game. I think it's great. Would I ever run a game of Chivalry and Sorcery? Probably not. It's not my type of game, but I'll play because I think it's a great game. I love that mechanics. I love the way the game runs, and I like how magic works, so I really enjoy it. So, you're going to have a high fantasy game. You got to have a high fantasy rule set and a high magic rule set. Well, Colleges of Magic is just that. This is again, these are all available in hardback and or softback through DriveThru. And this one is sitting at a whopping 125 pages. That includes a very comprehensive index. And this is literally what it says on the tin. This is the Colleges of Magic. So if you want to play a mage in HARP, this is the book you want. Now, that being said, everything in the core rulebook is more than enough to get you through running the game. But if you dive into the game and you really, really enjoy it, and you want to go deeper, you want to expand upon your magic and your repertoire of spells and abilities, this is the book for you, and you're gonna love it. It's got necromancy in here. It's got all kinds of stuff, artifacts, magical items, rituals and runes, magical enchantments, the setting, magic in the setting, what types of magic in society, magic as technology, magic versus technology, and adventure and campaign seeds, which as a GM, for me, that's gold. That anything that gives me more ideas and helps me increase my depth of knowledge of the setting is awesome. And adventures do that. Pre-written adventures do that. They give you a sense of belonging. They give you a sense of knowledge that you can only read so much into the game. So the written word is powerful, and it gives you a baseline, and it's always great to have a baseline. So there's really cool stuff in here. New skills and talents, the study of magic, types of magic. So we got blood magic, natural magic, alchemy, charmcraft, ritual magic, rune magic, spell magic, high magic for your elves and stuff, middle magic, which is where most of the lesser races like the humans get into, but you've got elementalism, magery, necromancy, thaumaturgy, vivomancy, clerics, harpers, rangers, warrior mage, so you can be a spell sword, and you got universal spheres, and then you got other types of magic, which it just touches upon, and then training packages and things like that. So you got all kinds of information in here to really bring your mage home and make him feel empowered and legitimate, and be a part of that living, breathing world that your GM is going to help you set up. And of course, it's a good book for the GM to have for his evil, magic users and or helpful magic users and clerics, because it's going to give him more spells and stuff. So good player and GM resource. I highly recommend it. All right. So the next book is, we've covered the mages, so we've got to cover the martial character. So martial law, same thing. Hardback or softback or PDF from DriveThruRPG. 111 pages, comprehensive index and table of contents, and this covers all your fighters, your rogues, your thieves, your fist fighters, your melee fighters, your ranged fighters, monks. It covers pretty much everything in here. Called shots, damage adjusted by armor. All the critical tables you would need, because remember, there are a lot of charts in this game. It's not as bad as Rollmaster or Against the Dark Master, but it does have charts for damage, and you're going to want to use those. All kinds of weapons, swords, unusual weapons, creating and adding new weapons, armor, orders and organizations. I think this is cool because, again, remember, the written word is powerful, and this gives you more information on the world. And the default setting for HARP, by the way, is Cyrodiil, which I don't have that book, believe it or not, because I can't get it. And for whatever reason, Drive-Thru RPG wasn't offering it as a hardback, only as a softback. And I have them all in hardback, so I want it in hardback. So maybe if you guys know if I can get it through like Lulu Press or something like that, I might try to do that. So anyway, I need to look and see if Cyrodiil is available as a hardback. So martial law, everything you need for your martial characters. Again, if you're going to play any type of fighter, this is the book for you. It's good for the GM to set up the big bad guys, give them powers and abilities, beyond what's in the core book. But again, all of these books are secondary. They are not needed to play. All you need is the core rule book. It has everything you need to play. And then the last one, but not least, the bestiary is out. I do not have it. And I believe it's out in hardback. So it's on my list to get, but I don't have it yet. Is HARP Fantasy Loot. This is a game master's dream. And to be honest, I personally feel that this is good for any high fantasy RPG because it has tons of charts. It has tons of information in it. I have stolen things out of here for my Pathfinder game. That's how useful this is to me. I keep it out and close by to reference when I'm looking for something because just some of the information in here and the flavor text they've put on some of these things is great to steal for other games. And I think you shouldn't pigeonhole yourself to one set of books. If you're a game master, you should draw from every source that you can. So this just has like loot in the wilderness, what the players can find in the wilds, and all kinds of treasure, potions, artifacts, intelligent items, which I think is awesome, magical runes, talismans, and how to enchant items. This book is amazing for a GM resource. I would not let my players rummage through this. That's just me. I mean, some GMs are open and they don't care. I just don't think the players need to know what's in here. This is a GM resource only. So that is HARP in a nutshell. Percentage-based system, detailed character creation step by step in the core rule book. All of the source books just really add to it and give you much more options and make it very flavorful, and I think it's a great game. It's one of those games that I feel doesn't get enough attention and needs more limelight. So I wanted to do a quick video tonight to just highlight it and let you guys know that this is a cool game. HARP Fantasy, pick it up. Let them know Mr. Mean told you to get it. It's awesome. I think you'll enjoy it. If you like Against the Dark Master, but you want maybe you don't want a book that's so heavy to carry around, but you want that same feel, this is the game. You're going to enjoy this. And the Cyrodiil setting is awesome. You're going to really enjoy that setting. I had it before in a softback, and I got rid of it like a dummy years ago. I've moved so many times and stuff. You can't take everything with you all the time. So I regret getting rid of it, but I'm going to buy it again. In fact, tonight I'm going to go look for it and see if I can find it in a hardback. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much my thoughts on HARP. I wanted to give it a little light, maybe bring it to your attention. If you didn't know about it, or you weren't sure about it, or you're on the fence, maybe you've seen it at your local game store. Mr. Mumphrey 999 on my Discord, who's also played in a couple of my games, he was telling me that he saw it, they had it as a bundle at his RPG store, but he didn't know anything about it. So kind of dedicating this one to Mumphrey. I hope it answers some questions for you, sir, and gives you enough insight that you want to pick it up. I think it's a great one, and it's a good one to get kids involved because it's simple math. You're dealing with tens, you're dealing with percentage-based attributes, and that's a good way for kids to learn basic math. So it's a good one to run with younger kids and stuff. They'll pick it up real quick, and it's not a hard game to master. And I think it's a fun game. It's really well set up. There's no uber dark themes or anything like that. It's just strict, high fantasy, and you can make it as dark or as light as you want it. It doesn't have to be all about, Sauron or, the Dark Master trying to destroy you or whatever. It can be a lighthearted game if you want. So I think it's a great game, and you guys should give it a try. So that's pretty much the end of the review talk. I wanted to get that out there. I am going to be at Con of the North next weekend in Plymouth, Minnesota, which is just outside of the cities down south of, I'm in Duluth, so south of Duluth. I will be there running Mutant Chronicles for Modiphius, so it will be a sponsored event. I will get everybody's email, and hopefully when I turn that in as an after con report, Modifius will send whoever plays in the game some cool, discounts or whatever. I don't know what they're going to do. But it's a cool game. If you've never tried Mutant Chronicles, go check out my review down in the doobly-doo. It's one of my favorite games, and so I'm very excited to run it. And I'll be there at the con. I'll have some Mr. Mean stickers. So if you see me at the con, say, "Hey, Mr. Mean, can I get a sticker?" And I will hook you up with a Mr. Mean sticker. And you can put it in the most obnoxious places you want. Other than that, you can support me on Patreon. You can support me on Discord, obviously, by joining the Discord and being active in that community. It's a very powerful community, and we're very positive, and we enjoy talking about all types of games. I'm also on Facebook, Mr. Mean Speaks, as a group, so you can go join that. And I'll post all my videos on there as well. So hopefully that helps out. And of course, pass this video on to your friends. Let's grow the Meanie Army. I really appreciate all the support. I am no longer on PayPal. I have closed all of my PayPal and eBay accounts because I just think they're shysters, and I'm tired of fighting with them over stupid stuff. And so I no longer do business with PayPal or eBay. They can fall off the face of the earth, and I don't care. Of course, I have my Patreon. It's $5 a month. That gets you a designator on Discord. It also gets you first dibs in any games I run via Foundry or Discord. It also gets you put into a drawing every couple of months or so often when I have cool swag from vendors and from the game designers. I'll put your name in a drawing, and I will send it out to you at my cost. So $5 can get you, $30 to $70 worth of games. It's not a bad deal. So, of course, disclaimer: no statement of that you will win every month, but we try to spread the wealth, and it's a random drawing. I have enough patrons that I can roll a die and hopefully get everybody. So hopefully your odds of winning are pretty good. So help support me that way. All that money does go back into the channel. Support me on Facebook. Mr. Mean Speaks is a group. You can search for it and just answer 2 simple questions, and boom, you're in the group. Once I approve it, of course, I have to approve it. So that's how Facebook works. But anyway, that is it for tonight. I'm going to go back and watch the Super Bowl with my wife. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday evening. As always, like and subscribe. Peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says, be nice.